Hey, what's up, classic movie fans? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Three Stooges, more specifically about fake Shemp and real Shemp. I'll let you know the difference between them and why we even have the term fake Shemp. I think a lot of you will be really interested about this, and I'll show you all the examples as well. But before I get into the video, I do want to let you know that I'm giving away a DVD set with every single Stooge short. Yep, you heard me right. That was not a mistake. Every single 190 Stooge short for you to win. There's no purchase necessary. It's very simple to win. All I ask is that you be a supporter. All the details will be revealed in this video, so make sure to watch the entire video to see how you can win. Now, I do want to talk about what happened. We have to go back to the days when the Stooges were in vaudeville with Ted Healy. Now, we'll let you know that the group was Moe, Larry. In fact, Shemp was the third one. It was not Curly as most people think. Now, when they got their deal with Columbia to make their 190 shorts, Shemp was not able to help them, so they were down a Stooge. So what they had to do was get Curly in to help fill in the gap, and once Curly was there, that was it. They started the Three Stooges as we know in regards to the Columbia shorts. Now what happened, of course, Curly had to leave because of medical reasons. He was very sick at the time. Who replaced him? Shemp. So we had the original Three Stooges together. Now unfortunately, Shemp had a heart attack throughout the course of him making all of these shorts, and as a result passed away November 22nd, 1955. That was, of course, a tragedy for everyone involved, mostly for Moe, who was a Stooge, who was his brother, and not too long ago losing Curly. Now, they had to complete the Stooge shorts. They had a contract with Columbia, and the contract said Three Stooges, so there were only two. So what did they do? Well, they scrambled, and they had a bit of a brainstorm when they said, hey, why don't we just continue with quote-unquote Shemp, but since he's not around, let's just get an actor that has been with us that we can rely on that kind of looks like him to take the place of Shemp. Now they chose the man Joe Palma. Now Joe Palma was a minor actor that appeared in many Three Stooge shorts, and he kind of resembles Shemp just a little bit. So what they did, they filmed him from the side, from behind, they obstructed his face and so forth, but he tried to imitate Shemp as much as possible, and they cranked out 4 Stooge shorts using old footage and so forth. I'll get into the details in just a little bit. After those 4 shorts, they concluded their 190 shorts with Joe Besser. Now, in regards to the footage, here's what they did. Number one, they used old stock footage, that is pre-Shemp's death, footage from past shorts, and they would put it into these new shorts, one of these 4 that I'm going to talk about in a little bit of detail in just a little bit. Number two, they would have Moe and Larry who would film new footage of just both of them or just them individually and kind of splice it and edit into the old stock footage that they had. And thirdly, they would put footage of new footage, that is, of the fake Shemp, or that is, of course, the actor Joe Palma playing Shemp, where he would be obscured and so forth. Sometimes he would even be in the scenes with Moe and Larry, but most of the time it was just him. Now, I know a lot of you may think, well, what's the difference between fake Shemp and a stuntman? Because isn't Joe Palma, after all, just a glorified stuntman who stood in for Shemp Howard? Well, not exactly, because a stuntman is usually focused on physical stunts to replace the original actor so that that actor doesn't get hurt. And this stuntman is professional at what they do. They know how to fall, they know how to get hit, and there's no injuries for the most part involved. Now this is different because these are non-physical stunts, but it is physical acting that Joe Palma is doing, and he's trying to approximate the mannerisms, the gait, the way he walks of Shemp Howard to seal the deal that you are seeing Shemp Howard instead of him. In regards to the audio for this new footage for these 4 episodes, what did they do? Well, sometimes they went to the old Shemp audio reels and they put that into the new episodes where they needed, or they just had Joe Palma say a couple words, a couple sounds to, again, approximate what Shemp would sound like. I want to talk a little bit about these 4 shorts with Joe Palma in them, standing as fake Shemp. Now, what's important to note for these is I'm not going to go into every single mistake or blooper or fact. It's just a rough look at where we may see old footage of Shemp and then new footage of Joe De Palma. Now, the first one, Rumpus in the Harem. Now, this one was a remake of the original Stooge short, Malice in the Palace, which had Shemp Howard in it. Now, in this one, for the most part, what they did, the opening shot of Moe and Larry in bed that you see here where they're snoring, we don't have Shemp in regards to the story in the same room. He went ahead in the restaurant. That's what we hear. Now you see a lot of Moe, a lot of Larry in the beginning, because remember, at this time when this was being filmed, this footage, Shemp had already passed away. Now, what's great here is that we go to the restaurant and we now see Shemp. What's happening? This is just clever editing between essentially the new footage that we just saw where they were in the bedroom to the old footage from Malice in the Palace. When spliced together, it looks like it's a new episode, or it looks like it's just something completely different. And they run for this for a little bit. Later, when they're actually in the palace, they film a couple new scenes with Moe and Larry, and then you finally see Joe, which I will highlight here. This is Joe Palma with his back to us, and he's standing in for Shemp Howard. He's also the one who jumps out the window in regards to this scene right over here, and that's it. That's the extent of him used, and he did make a couple sounds here and there to approximate that it was Shemp Howard. So if you didn't really know this, it was probably hard to spot. Now let's move to the second one. This one's called Hot Stuff. Now this one is a remake of the older Stooge short, Fueling Around. Now we get to see some very interesting scenes here because we have an opening scene with Joe. Now this is not Shemp. They're all wearing these fake beards, and it's essentially the only real time that we see the most of Joe Palma, essentially his front side as possible, but he is obscured with that giant beard, and so it's hard to tell it's him. Plus remember, this is HD footage. This isn't what people would have seen in the theaters when they went to watch this. Now a half, or I would say a third of this short is essentially new footage of just Moe and Larry. And the rest of the short is just old footage from Fueling Around, made all edited together, and essentially we only see Joe Palma in that opening scene. Now let's move on to the third short. It's called Scheming Schemers. Now this is a remake of Vagabond Loafers. Now it begins with new footage that we see, of course, Moe and Larry, and some older as well. Now Shemp is mostly absent in this one. It's the one where essentially they are plumbers. It's a good one. It's a really good one. And the time that we see Joe Palma is here when he's honking the horn of the Jeep. He's outside and they say, hey, Shemp is outside. He's honking the horn. Come in, Shemp. We have a lot of work to do. And we see Joe Palma obscuring his face. Now, essentially the rest of the short is all old footage. It's all footage from Vagabond Loafers, and it's done fairly well. Again, if you've never seen Vagabond Loafers, and let's say you've seen Scheming Schemers, you'd think that everything is normal, that there's nothing unusual, which is what they were trying to do. But as you're noticing, as these four shorts continue, there is less and less footage of Joe Palma and more older footage that they're using. And finally, the last short with Joe Palma in it before we get Joe Besser is Commotion on the Ocean. Now this one is a remake of the older short Dunked in the Deep. Now this mostly uses stock footage as well from another short called Crime on Their Hands. So it's essentially the only short that has old stock footage from two Stooge shorts, not just one. Again, a little bit less of Palma in here, and most of the footage is essentially old. Very little new footage shot. So it starts, of course, as I mentioned, with old footage that you see here. And the only real peak that we see of Joe Palma is in this newspaper room or this newspaper office. And you don't even see his face. You see his upper torso. You see a little bit of his arm. But again, he's in clothing and so forth. You're made to think that this is Shemp. And that's it. After the phone call, it goes to old footage. And essentially, we would be none the wiser that anything was wrong. Now I've been looking at all the Stooge shorts beginning from number 1 with Curly, and I've made my way down the line. I'm roughly in the 60s or 60th Stooge short, so make sure to check out my 3 Stooges playlist, because eventually I'm going to get to these shorts and go through them, dissect them. This was just a quick look at what fake Shemp, the term, means, and essentially how it started, and in what Stooge shorts you have to watch to see Joe De Palma just basically doubling in for Shemp Howard. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. So many people watch the videos but are not subscribed to the channel. In fact, that's one of the only ways you can win the DVD set with every single Stooge short. You must, number 1, be a subscriber to the channel, so hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do so. Hit the like, thumbs up button. It's the same thing. And then leave a comment down below. Make sure to have the name Joe in there. As long as you have the word Joe and Joe standing in for Joe Palma, you will be eligible for the DVD set. But remember, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment with whatever you like, but you have to have Joe in there. And finally, there's a link in the description of this video. Don't email me, please. Just in that link, put down your information. I have it listed there. It'll go only toward me. It's confidential, so when I pick the winner, I know how to contact you. We'll see you next time. Good luck to all of the participants for the giveaway. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, be hopeful. A big thank you especially to my Diamond tier patrons: Kevin K, David D, Vito L, Sally N, Citizen Kane 359, Ricky, an honorary Patreon, Verbal Volley. If you want to become a patron member, links are down below in the description. Thank you.